every game, there is a pain. And behind everybody you see having a glory, there is a story.
Hi guys, welcome to the Vima Show. This is the show that deals with love issues, relationship, marriage tips, and also stories that inspire. And so today we have a guest. He's a servant of God, and he has a story that will inspire us. So, yeah, let's see who we have in the show. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. My name is Olo Alan Odhiambo. I was born and raised in Busia County, Mutla sub-county, in the remote areas, schooled in the villages around there. And I'm a man of God. I love inspiration. And thank you for having me today. We're going to have a great one.
And so it's an honor to have you here. And this man, he has a very amazing story, and that's why we want him to take the stage. Yeah, so tell us about your story, how you grew up, the challenges that you faced, and how did you manage to overcome?
Thank you so much. I used to hear of stories.
Yes.
I used to hear of very many stories from friends, from relatives,
Yes.
from maybe some enemies, or all over.
Yeah.
But I never knew around the story well. But now I got the story clearly when my mom wanted to rest and be with the Lord.
Okay.
So I came from school and I was told, your mom has been looking for you for so long. And I said, what is it? And then I went to the house where she was lying and I found her already, she wouldn't speak.
Okay.
And so she struggled to speak, but by the grace of God, she opened her mouth. And she got money from a seat, a coach like this one. She removed money, put in my hands, 18,000, and then sat down and told me, son, today I want to tell you something that maybe nobody has told you, I don't know if you ever had. But this is the truth. I got you when I was in school. She conceived a baby when she was in school in Form 1. And the father was a very fierce man in the villages. He was feared. And so the father chased her away. So she went to live with a grandparents, the one that bore her mom.
Okay.
And so as she was there, she attempted to abort the kid for the first time. She attempted abortion the second time. She attempted abortion the third time. She attempted abortion the fourth time. You know, when she was telling me, it would look like a drama. And so I attempted to abort you 6 times. And the 6th time, I have a friend called Irene. And she told me, if you continue to do this, you will die together with the kid. And so that's how I left you. But then because she had disturbed the kid in the womb system. And so what happened is that I was now getting medical issues in the womb of my mommy. And so the kid came out prematurely. And so when I came out prematurely, she threw me in the toilet. And I'm Alan Olo Odhiambo. Odhiambo isn't my father's name.
Okay.
Odhiambo is my uncle's name. My uncle. Maybe you're privileged to have your father's name, or you have, I don't know which name, the second name is. But Odhiambo is my uncle's name. So I was named after my uncle.
Okay.
That uncle is the one who found me in the toilet and called people. And they came, those traditional toilets, whereby they dig a hole. So it was deep. So he heard the kid cry. So he called the neighbors. They went behind, dug down, went to the pit, and removed the kid. And that is the one talking to you today. And so I'm raised up by my grandmommy. She was called Pascalia Apio, who took me to the nursery, nursery to Min Hospital, where I was nurtured and brought back. I took the breast milk of my grandmom, not my mom. At that time, she had run away. She was in Nairobi. She tells me she used to do vibarua, this kind of washing for people. Eventually, she became a maid. She was a bar attendant. But I also love one of the things that she used to be. She was a taekwondo trainer,
Yes.
So you can be sure that I have some tips here and there. And so My story, for me, I always say, for every gain, there is a pain.
Sure,
And
sure.
behind everybody you see having a glory, there is a story.
Yes.
So before you see their glory, then there is a story you need to hear.
Yes.
And every time I think of my story, I see it because I saw struggle.
Yeah.
For sure, I saw a lot of struggle, my sister.
Indeed.
Yes. And that was critically critical. And I'm brought up by my grandmom. Later on, she died.
Okay.
You know, so
At this time, where is your mom? Have you seen her?
I haven't seen her entirely. I came to see my mom the first day I saw her. I was in class 3,
Okay.
and I was living with a cousin to my mom.
Okay.
And just like I was telling you,
Yeah.
my grandmom died in 95. Then I was left with my grandfather,
Okay.
who took care of me. He was called Mula, who took care of me, and he also died in 96.
Okay.
Then I was left with my uncle, whom I've named after now, Odhiambo. And Odhiambo also died in 97. So that's the time when I went to live with a cousin to my mom.
So it means these people are dying every year.
They were dying like they'd been called to die, you know. They were dying consecutively. So you asked me when I saw my mom. I saw my mom first when that cousin of her had also died. So she was told to come for the son, because now there's nobody to take care of the son.
Okay.
That's the time when I was actually when I was told this is your mom, I said no.
Yeah, you
Because I knew that cousin to my mom was my mom.
Oh.
Because I was brought there when I was young, very young, tender. So I grew up knowing the cousin to my mom is my mom.
Okay.
So when I was told this is your mom, I said no, it can't be my mom. And he said I'm your mom. She stayed there for 3 days, I remember. It's in Lowland, in a place called Urenga, you know, just near Busia. It's in Siaya.
Yeah.
And then now I was told you have to go with this one because she is your mom.
Yes.
That's now when we went together with her.
Okay, let me stop at that.
Yes.
How did you feel seeing your mom for the first time and people are telling you that she's your mom?
Of course, it's a nice feeling entirely, but you see, I rejected for the first time. But you know, I was explained to what happened and everything
Okay.
concerning things there.
Okay.
I had to accept.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I accepted and I went with her eventually.
Okay.
And at that time we went, when we were going away, she had been remarried. Because remember, she gave birth to me out of wedlock.
Yeah, sure.
She wasn't married to my father. My father was called Alfred Olo. He was an ambassador, I hear so.
Yeah.
And so he was a Luo man, you know, and this one was a Luo lady.
Yes.
And so I went with my mom where she had been remarried.
Okay.
So in other words, I had a stepfather.
Yeah.
You know, many people say they have step mummies.
Yeah.
You know, but me I had a stepfather. And not one, several other afterwards.
Okay.
I had a privilege to have a man called Caleb Wesonga. He was the first man to buy me a kaunda suit. That's why I love suits.
Yeah.
He was the first man to buy for me a first good shoe when I was I repeated class 3 in a place called Nambare Urban Primary School in
Yes.
Busia.
Yeah.
And he loved me like, what is this?
Okay. Can you share some of the childhood memories that you have?
Childhood memories.
Yeah.
There are several.
Yes.
One childhood memory that I remember, I was a street boy in Kisumu because of the so many challenges that we had. And what
At what age?
What I'm just insisting on is that there is always a story behind everybody.
Yes.
I was a street boy when I was in class 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because at that time, the stepdad to me, the man who had married my mom, had died, and so now my mom again was a widow.
Yeah.
So she was also chased away from the home, where belonging to the people who were with the relatives to the husband. At that time now I had nowhere. Actually, at one particular time she went to prison because some cases. So I had nowhere to go because remember the cousin to her had died. Remember at their home, that's the only place I know.
Yeah.
In Swahili they say Ujombani.
Yeah.
At their home there was nobody. You know, the home was deserted. You know, circumspectly there was no one around. And so me, the only place I would run to is in the streets. So I went to the streets of Kisumu. I became a chokosh, what people call chokora, the street boys. And out there, if there'll be any street boy who will ever hear this thing.
And you were in class 4.
Yes.
So you left school.
I left school automatically
God.
for 1 year.
Yeah.
I was in the streets of Kisumu, but one thing you would say, I remember another man called Alex, you know, he would say, we are chokos, but we are not meant to be chokos. We will one day get out of here.
Yeah.
And that was our life. Another memory that I remember so much is that I spent 21 days, you know, sleeping on top of a tree. One day when there was nowhere, I would go entirely. That is even after being a chocolate. And I was taken out of that particular tree because there's a chief who used to pass by. It's called Namudeche. He is now retired. I still know him in a place called Marachi. He would pass by and see a boy going up. And would pass by and see a boy coming down. So he got interested. What is this? So he came around and checked and found me. You know, one day. It was like something weird. But I stayed there for 21 days because I reached a place where I wouldn't believe in anybody's home, you know, or anybody around me. I would see people and run away because I'd stayed in so many homes. So one of the memories that I can, I cannot forget is that I have slept on top of a tree. Still, destiny was tagged somewhere.
Yes.
Oh yes.
No matter the challenges.
We have to keep on going.
Yes.
And that is us.
And then tell us about how after class 8.
After class 8,
Yes.
I scored one of the very high marks in a place called Buhoma Primary School. We used to wear green shorts.
Yeah.
And that green short, God forgive the tailors of those days.
Yes.
I remember, so it had a lot of patches. You know, you would take it to the tailor and they put a green patch. Take it to another tailor, they put another green patch.
That is because of poverty.
Yes, of course. And remember, at that time, I had stayed in 12 different homes for relatives. So what happened is that I became a watchman in class 7, you know, and then now in class 8, I was promoted by the posho mill owner. I now became a watchman in the same place, and I was a posho mill grinder, see, 2 in 1.
Yeah.
So I'd come from school, primary school, and be grinding the posho mill to get that 20 shillings. I was staying in a place called Bar Ober Market. It's a market in Siaya and Busia. You know, it has Luyas and Luos. And so now, at that time, I was index 1. 60 14 24 001.
You are bright.
That was my index.
Yes.
I used to sit behind that door, index 1. That's where I sat, and I was index 1 for almost all through. And so when I passed my KCPE to go to a school called Kakamega High, another later also called Bushangala High School, I wouldn't go. So what happened is that I was done for fundraising. It is the first fundraising I saw for a man who is not dead. A live man. I don't know if you've ever seen a fundraising being done for a live man. I stood in a church. The pastor requested, who will buy for low shoes? And somebody raised their hand up. And I will buy the shoes. Who will buy the trouser? I'll buy the trouser. Who will buy the shirt? I'll buy the shirt. Then I was given 2,000 Kenya shillings. You know, one of my aunties called Angeline went and rented some plot in Ujombani, and was given some money. Then that money is the one I went with to St. Joseph's Bumutiru Secondary School in Busia. And I went alone, actually. I went to get admitted.
Where is your mom this time?
My mom is in the picture. My mom was in Nairobi. I remember earlier on, he was in Nairobi. She was in Nairobi, I mean, as a maid. And later on, as many things. Then when I was doing my KCPE, unfortunately, she had already died. You know, these stories she was telling me were around my birth because she was almost dying. And by the way, when she finished telling me the story, she went down and died. You know, we buried her. She was the only woman I saw being ferried by a bicycle to their home. You know, that's one of the most painful things I remember about my mom's death.
Okay, how was your relationship with your mom during this time she was passing?
Relationship was good.
Yes.
She's one person I can never regret having seen or having born me, because I understood her.
Yes.
When she was giving me the story, I understood her. The father was very fierce. And number 2, that time leaving school fees at school was also critical.
Yes.
And number 3, I had known God at an earlier age. She didn't know God so well, but she groomed me to know God. And so my relationship with her was good. Actually, you know, there are 4 kinds of mothers, according to me. 1, there is an abusive mother.
Yes.
You know, you are too fat. You know, when you are sleeping, you snore a lot. An abusive mother. Number 2, there is a mother called a permissive mother. Mothers who just observe the way their kids are and they leave them. My mom wasn't a permissive mother. Number 3, there's an absentee mother. At one particular time, she was an absentee, but she accepted to come. And number 3, there's a participatory mother. Participatory mothers are those who grow up their kids, engaging them. Because I remember one day, she used to call me soldier. And later on, I wouldn't want to be a soldier. I told Mom, I don't want to be a soldier. I want to be a professor. So she started calling me professor. Professor, you will teach. You will use your mouth to speak to people. And that is exactly what I'm doing today. So my relationship with my mom was one of the most excellent, despite whatever happened. Yes.
And it's good that you really understood her.
Yeah, I had to. I speak messages. One of my powerful messages called the power of the mouth, and I love it so much. Speaking, speak things as if they are there, even if they are not there. And many things that my mom spoke to me, they have come to pass. They have come to pass. She told me, my son, you will go to the university.
A parent is a blessing. So despite how she is, how she was, it doesn't matter.
It is true.
Whatever she speaks and whatever she spoke is already coming out.
And so she spoke many things. She spoke many things that I may not maybe able to say here, but one of the things that I remember so much, she told me, you will go to the university no matter what happens. And you see, just like you were asking me, I went after class 8. I was done for Mchango. I went to a high school. Around there, day school. I went through. I failed. My first attempt of high school, I failed. I repeated.
Who was paying your fees during your high school?
Nice one. I can entirely say that I used to be a watchman. And I would also do manual jobs.
So were you in a day school?
I was in a day school. Entirely for 4 years. And number 3, I used to be a watchman. I was doing manual jobs. And number 3, I schooled in the Kibaki regime, where the CDF had been introduced. So I would apply for bursaries, and the CDF bursaries were of great help to me. I used to have every time, because they used to do it so much, using credentials on how you are performing, and you can be sure I have never been number 3 in my entire life.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How did you manage to balance, you have told us you are working, some manual work. And how did you manage to balance education and also manual work? Most of our students today, they are not serious in their academics. And so they are in boarding schools. They have all the time there, but they don't want to work hard. So how did you manage to balance that? Maybe they can get a tip on that.
Because I was a day scholar, entirely over the weekends, me and education were like this. So we would go for manual jobs. It's true. And that is one of the things that is also a disadvantage with the scholars, but also advantage. Because for me, I really love the scholars. And we, entirely Saturday, it was my day to look for money. Because the last pen I was bought for by a parent was in class 3, by a parent called Caleb Wesonga, my stepfather. The last book I was bought for by a parent was in class 3, called Kiswahili Kitukuzwe, by my mom, a red book. Those are the last thing I was bought for by somebody called a parent or somebody. So everything, the rest was upon me. You go do manual jobs, you go do a special meal, you be a watchman, and that was entirely. And also there was a man called Bishop Bernard Mwal. There is a bishop with the New Christian Ministries in a place called Buhalarire. He was a voluntary children officer, VCO, in Butula sub-county. He actually found me with a big jacket when I was a watchman now in class 8, and he wanted to look for the person who had employed a minor, whether they can be arrested. And so they met me, they interviewed me around, somehow investigated me. I told them, don't do anything that man. He's helping me, So also he was also a great help when I was doing my Form 4 especially. He's the first man to give me pocket money. He gave me 200 shillings, very new, that is 400, during a Mashujaa Day, what you call Mashujaa Day today. It was Kenyatta Day, those days, He gave me 400 shillings as a pocket money. So he was a great help during my high school, and also in the manual jobs I would combine in, especially, and also in the evenings when you have come from school, 6, 7, we'll do some things. That's how we manage. That's how we entirely manage, And I was a great inspiration to many people in the youth. Even today, when I go to Busia, there are people who look at me. There are people who look at me and they say, if Olo succeeded, I can also make it. I may not be so much happy, but there is something which pushes them when they see my life.
Yeah. So giving up should never be an option.
You can never give up. Never say never. In this life, man, it's a joy. Never say never.
Yes.
It is the worst thing to do for somebody. Whatever course we can do, push on.
Yes.
We pushed on. I pushed on entirely. I remember I would go to school without shoes. We'll take shoes and put on our laces. They used to have laces and put here because you can't walk with the shoes. You know, if the sole gets broken, who would repair it for you? So we would put here, but walk to school. You know, come back. You know, do manual jobs, but go to school. The only thing that our youth today are doing, and many people around, that we are pitting ourselves so much. You know, I tell people, you know, parental accident is not divine accident. You know, the fact that I was born out of wedlock doesn't mean I have to die poor. The fact that I was born out of wedlock and I've never seen our home, neither our dad. I only hear of stories. He had 3 wives, you know, they had 8 children. All of them have died, including a father of Bungoma diocese.
You know, youths, because of course we are talking mostly to the youths, they think that just because I was born out of wedlock, I can give up. They are not even optimistic. Yeah. So, what can you tell them?
I can tell them many things,
Yes.
but among them, whatever you say is very critical. Because whatever you say propels what you will do.
Yes.
And so for me, when my mom said you are a professor, and would call me like that, I knew my area is academia, you know. And so I went for. Anytime I was in class, I remember one day I was position 2, and she really beat me up.
Yes.
She really beat me up. That's the last time I was position 2.
Yes.
And so for me, what inspired me to move on is the words of my mom.
Yes.
And also the fact that I had to change the story of our home.
Yes.
I had to change the story.
Yes.
My mom told me, have you seen a car in our home? I told her, no. Have you seen somebody with the degree? I said, I've not heard unless you tell me.
Yes.
They are not there.
Yeah.
Become the first one.
First one.
You know.
Wow.
And so I always want to be the first.
The pioneer.
Yes. Yes, and that was entirely what I was doing.
Yeah, so let me take you back to the high school life. You've told us that you really struggled, but you managed to pass.
Oh, yes.
Can you take us back and tell us maybe some of those experiences that you had?
Most experiences, I think for me, they are good.
Yes.
One, I never had many uniforms. For instance, I remember one day I was a head boy at one particular time. I've been a laboratory prefect, you know. So one of the experiences that was so bad is that I never had so many uniforms. So one day, the zip to my trouser, you know, got out, you know, and I didn't have money to make it.
Yes.
So what I did is that I put some pins, what you call kikwasi in Swahili, 3 of them, you know, for so long, for almost an entire year. I would put that thing up, but I would still stand assembly and say, good morning, students, you know, and that is what keeps us going.
Yes.
The guts that tomorrow is better than today,
Yes.
you know, and yesterday cannot make our today, you know, and our today can be made by our decisions. And so entirely in high school, that moved me. Also, the CU, I was a CU chairperson from Form 2.
When did you get born again?
I got born again when I was in class 4. I knew Jesus when I was in class 4. You know, so I became serious with the things of God at an early age. I've never gone to a pub. I've never gone to disco. I've never taken alcohol. The only alcohol I took was something called busa. I was very young, and for some time, I think less than a year, you know, at a very tender age, you know, because of where I used to stay, one of the homes where I had gone to stay. But salvation, I got it so early. This man I'm calling Caleb Wesonga, my stepfather, was a pastor. So when we went to live with him, he was already a pastor in a place called Nambari town. I remember I was so short, so I would be put on top of a table in church, you know, to sing. And I would sing, Amenitendea, Amenitendea, Emmanuel, Amen. And I would lead the entire congregation to worship God. And I was young. That is how I was brought up. I was brought up. Just to tell you that I knew I'm destined for success.
Yes.
One day, we went because of peer pressure. We went to a club called Embassy Bar, Barobert. One man called us Tokale, who used to have a band, was coming. And so there's something called testing. Between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. You would go there free.
Yeah.
So you can go in and dance, and go out because they didn't have money to come in. So we went as a squad. We went in at 6 p.m. We went to Embassy Bar, Barobert. There was a big space behind it.
Yeah.
So we went in. We were 7 of us. One man is called Kevin Aize, and many other childhood friends. So we went in. We danced. One policeman just went into the place around and captured me, arrested me. He didn't put the things on me, but he arrested me and took my hands, held my hands. That man beat me up to our home, slowly by slowly. It wasn't past 7. He told me one thing I'll never forget.
Yes.
Wewe si wa bar. Wewe si wa club. Haufanani na watu wengine. So I grew up knowing I'm not like those other people.
Yeah,
and that's the last time I was in a club, by the way. And I just gone for testing. If you want to know that God has destined me for something. So as young as that time, I knew there is something in me that is unique, that unlike other people, and I have to take care of it. One, by being very serious with God, and 2, by being very serious with my education.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Okay, and then now, tell us about now the Form 4, your exam, and your now first year years. In which university?
Okay.
Yes.
I finished my Form 4, just like I told you. I was paid for my Form 4 registration fee by the principal because I wouldn't raise, so I was paid for by my principal. May God bless him.
Yeah.
I remember so much because I was index 2 that time, and so I was paid for my registration, but then I failed. So for me, failure is a B, around there, down there.
Yes.
We had failed.
Yeah.
So at this time, I was in the orphans' home called the New Creation Orphans' Home.
That is where you are living?
That's where I was living. That's why I call home up to now. When I go home to Busia, I don't think I go to our home. Where I call home is called New Creation Orphans' Home. Under Bishop Bernard Mwele. That man that saw me in class 8 when I was a watchman is now my guardian, up to date. And so, in that orphans' home, I remember after failing, it took me like 3 days not accepting that I had not gone to the university with a good grade.
What was that your good grade?
My good grade?
Yes.
I will tell you.
Yes.
So for me, I slept for 3 days. I remember I was so stressed. They would come in my room, and ask me and try to talk to me. I wouldn't hear anything. I remember one day, one person told me, I think although God wanted you to be a pastor, that's why you're going to do so. Just leave this 6 to education. I told him, if God wanted me to be a pastor who wasn't educated, he wouldn't have allowed me to go to class 3.
Yes.
Leave alone high school. Yes. So the fact that I went through primary, went through high school, God wanted the educated pastor.
Yes.
So me, I have to go back to school. So when I was just speaking those things, because I was still saying I'm the best, I'll go to the university. Remember, man is saying you go to the university and just failed. So they will say you are mad. Mostly people will say I'm mad. But one lady, that Irene I told you was a friend to my mom, heard about my story.
Yes.
So he got my number. She called me. So when she called me, she said, I'm Irene, I'm in Starehe Boys Center. I would love you to come and do a repeat around somewhere here, so that you can go back. I was a friend to your mom and I'm a relative, this, blah, 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 such kind of things. And so I packed. I told my orphan's home manager, I'm going to Nairobi. I had never gone to Nairobi.
It was your first time.
It was my first time.
Yes.
They said, no, you can't go. Where were these people in Swahili? Wakati ulikuwa unateseka. When you were suffering, where were they? So I said, I have to go. This is destiny. Do you know everybody in the orphan's home refused? Although she not go.
Okay.
But me, I was destined. I have to go. And so I had saved my money. There's some money somewhere.
That is why we usually say that when one door closes, another one opens.
Yes, of course. God doesn't open one door. He opens several. And even if you see a door has been closed, look around for a window.
Yes.
Look around for a window.
Wow. Yes.
Oh, yes. And so I remember They took back my phone because it belonged to the orphan's home. I wrote the numbers down for Irene in a paper. I went to a place called Bumala. I went to Kisumu. We were going to Nairobi. The man I sat to next would hear my language, my local dialect. So I asked him, sir, can I use your phone to call somebody? Oh yes, feed the airtime. I did so. And so, unfortunately, he was alighting at Limuru. Me, I was going to Nairobi. I told him, you'll have to go with me, you know, up to Nairobi, then you come back. This is 2010, you know, and you see, I wanted to repeat by all means. And so we come with him up to Nairobi. Of course, we found Irene. Irene connected us to the husband. The husband picked me at a place called Kamukunji Police Station. We were going to Sarai Boys Center, you know, and I gave back the guy fare. Went back to Limuru, and so we got to Sarai Boys Center. So me, I thought I've come to repeat Sarai Boys Center. Shock on me. I was told you can't repeat Sarai Boys Center. It is only the boys from Form 1 to Form 4. So, but I sat in class with them. Another experience. God has made me pass through experiences that I don't know. I just need a serious book, you know.
You need
so I was at a boys center. If those boys brag, they got 400 and above marks, and there was a boys center. I didn't get 400 and above. I got slightly below, you know. But I went through there. And so I was told you are going to another place. So I was told Juja Preparatory is the school. So I went to Juja Preparatory. Unfortunately, I was told there are no space again. I came back to Nairobi. Now it was Embu. That is where I got a chance. This is now June. This is June. People have learned for 6 months. This is June 2010.
And you're supposed to sit for your exam in December.
Yes, in November, yes. So what we did is that we did what we call late registration. The man called Francis Kimani, my best principal in the world, Embu High School, an old man with some specs.
You know he's going to watch, so may God bless him. Yes.
So he's still alive.
Yeah.
And so I went to Embu High School and repeated, did my late registration in June.
In Form 4 now?
Yes. So I repeated from June. Learned for 3 to 4 months. That's how I was capable of going to the university. I wouldn't want to tell you more, but I was in the papers in Eastern Province. You as one of the best performers. One of the things that God has given me a grace to be fast in many things. You're fast. Even the latest one, I've been recognized as by an institution as the best under 30 motivational speaker of the year, 2021, 2020. And so God has graced me with something called best, you know. And so I emerged on papers. In papers.
And you know, even in the Bible, it says that you are the head and not the tail.
I'm not the tail. 28:13. Yes. And so that was it. That I live. So now I went to choose universities because I passed. While in a place called Nairobi, choosing universities. And for me, when I was in Form 1, one day, my history teacher was a Catholic priest. So one day he was teaching the people of Kenya. He said the Bantus, the Nilots, the Cushites. And so for me, I got interested in the Bantus. He was saying the Agikuyu, the Embu, the Mbere, you know, and said I rose my hand up. And he asked, what is it, Alan? I used to be talkative. You know, I told him, those they are Kambas. I want to be there. I will live there one day. So I remember the statement when we were choosing universities. And I asked my friends, which university is in Ukambani? That is how I chose the university. Because I had a good grade to go to a very good university. But I wanted 1, nutrition, 2, university in Ukambani. So we checked, we found one university called Southeastern University College. Those days, that is what I took. And that's why and where I've lived in Ukambani for almost my big part of adulthood.
Why did you think that you really wanted to come to Ukambani?
Not much. You know, some of those things, they just godly, divinely brought things. But I didn't have a lot as to why I would love the Akamba. But there used to be a neighbor also, an old shosho of almost 70 years who was a Kamba from a place called Matinyani in Ukambani. And I used to love her. The way she would live. She has actually impacted people around our place, such that most men have married around the place. So when we were growing up, we loved to go where church comes from.
Yes.
One thing, and also number two, I just loved the people, you know, and also, you know, God can't make a mistake, and I can never regret why I went to the place, why I've been there for some years. It was the best, you know. I used to tell people in campus, in first year, by the way, you people, nyinyi mkitoka, when you leave school, I will remain in Uganda.
Yes.
Yes. Just like I tell you my best teaching again, the power of the spoken word, you know, and that's what happened, you know.
Okay.
And yeah, maybe if you ask me more, I will tell you about that one. But I remained, you know, and that is why I'm here.
Okay. Let me take you back to now the campus days. The first day in Seku.
First day in Seku was amazing.
Yes.
I had 10,800 Kenya shillings. I had been in Mujengo. I had been in Nairobi. So I came with the money, you know. But they said job students must have 18,800. So in the line, that's why I met my first friend, by the way. It's called Benson Kamau Madwe. You know, my best ever. You know, so the line, when I was the one now next, I had 18,800 is the minimum for job students. Me, I did not go away. So I gave them the money. They gave me a receipt, but they told me, go away and bring us 8,000. I never went away. I stayed around. I remember there's a place called Magic TV Room in a place South Africa University, where I would stay. I would watch Al Jazeera, you know, Al Jazeera up to so much time. You know, at night I would just watch Al Jazeera. I had no room. I'm in campus. So after 2 weeks, oh yes, after 2 weeks, there's a DVC called Professor Madoko. He gave a notice. Everybody who hasn't paid school fees should get out of the university premises. I told people, God who brought me here will keep me here. But the fact is, when God takes you somewhere, He has to keep you there. You know, it's a very bad memory, but I will still tell you. So one day, I was so tired and sleepy. So because I was so tired and sleepy, I would watch the Al Jazeera up to around 1 a.m., sneak into someone's room, go under their bed, sleep. I remember one man called Eric Ndereba. We used to call him Bishop, a nickname. So I used to sleep under his bed, you know, and get out room 208 in Magic. I don't know how it's called today, the hostels, and get out. That was the norm for almost more than a month. You know, and then somebody gave me money through an M-Pesa, miracle money, you know, from Dubai. You know,
because I was almost asking, now that you don't have enough fees, what did you manage? How did you manage to pay for your meals?
Oh yes, those are just miracles. You know, just go around, because I would also come out of school after some time and go to Nairobi, do some manual jobs, and come back, do some manual jobs, and come back. But then I was telling you that this lady gave me money from Dubai, 8,000. I'm actually a product of people, entirely, most. That's why I don't, you know, you need people. Right from birth to the grave, you need people. You see, from my birth, you see Odhiambo picking me. You see my mom, you know, see people. I tell people, we don't need the 6 people to lower us in the grave. We need the 6 people to help us in life. And so there are people, you know, there are people who would help me in campus with 10 shillings, like Silas Barasa. I don't know if you knew him. Silas Barasa would give me 20 shillings, 10 shillings, and then I would use it to go to the line, pay for ugali only. When you pay for ugali, 5 shillings, you are given soup. So you eat ugali with the soup, you are done. You eat ugali with the soup, you are done. And that is destiny for many people, you know. And for me, I'm proud of those destinies today. They are the reason as to why I push on. Anytime I'm faced by difficulty, I remember where I've come from and where I'm going. There must be light. So if I'm here today, then tomorrow is for sure assured. Rest assured. So campus life was difficult. I can tell you, I didn't have a blanket when I joined campus. 3 shirts and 3 shirts and 3 trousers in a green paper bag. That's why that's how I joined campus. No place to rest my head. I remember I was not given even a mattress, but after the 8,000 topping up, I was given a mattress now. I put on top of a bed. That is how I lived. But I used to say, I'm coming here to get a first class. That is the only thing I want. And number 2, I want God in campus. I had heard many stories about campus. I was going there to get my first class, and also number two, to build my relationship with God.
Yes.
That was it. That's what pushed us. So I applied help later on, and that's what I used to pay school fees a little bit with it. And that is life.
Yes, it's life.
Oh yes.
It's life.
And see you, of course. We didn't leave.
Yeah.
We were there,
Yeah.
praying,
Serving
fasting.
God.
Oh yes.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so far so good. We thank God. Uh, what He has done for you, it's really and indeed a testimony that God raises us from the ashes and puts us somewhere to dine with kids. Yeah, and what memories do you have in campus?
Very many memories. Number one, when I would walk around and find a lady and a man holding their hands, they would leave each other.
Yes, why?
They would leave each other. They used to say I was strict. I don't know. I never had a girlfriend, of course, for 4 years.
Was it by choice?
Intentional.
Oh.
By all means.
Okay.
God first class. Remember those things?
Yeah.
Yes. So one of the things that I never understood is that one. I never asked anybody why, but I would see them. People come holding hands, you meet them, they leave each other.
Yeah.
One of the very serious memories.
Yeah.
And number two, I also remember one day people wanted to strike again. You know, we had been on a strike for some 8 months, 6 to 8 months.
I
So we
remember.
knew. So one day, people wanted to strike. And so I remember they were there, and we had just come from a strike.
Yeah.
I called them. I used to be influential. I called them. They came, a lot of people. When they came, before long, our VC came in.
Yeah.
So they never wanted the VC to talk. You know, so I told the VC, you will keep quiet, I will talk. So I told the VC, we are giving you 2 weeks, sir. Do this and this. Guys, don't destroy the property of the school. So everybody get back.
Yeah.
That is how the strike was quenched.
Okay.
Some memories that I can't forget.
Yeah.
You know, I also remember preaching a message. You know, I knocked down. It's not a knockout in the game of life,
Yes.
in the university, and people gave their lives to Jesus like no other day in campus.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the memories I can. I also remember one day we were doing program for the CU, and I'd been on Thursday we were there with a fellowship. On Friday a Kesha. Saturday we were also having a worship training. In the evening we had another fellowship. Sunday 2 services. So one girl called Edith Kiptui, you know, one day if you ever hear this video, she asked me, "Olo, kuja, come." Nakuuliza, I'm asking you. Tomorrow, Monday, is biochemistry paper. And you are here. I've been seeing you around here since Thursday.
Yes.
When were you in class? You know. And she told me, for sure you will fail.
Yes.
Because me, I've been in books since that week.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you reading.
Yes.
And we are reading the same thing, and me, I can't understand.
Yeah.
So for you, you haven't read, and then you want to pass. So I told her, what you do, when you find out your paper after month, come and take mine.
Yes.
Then compare the two.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Guys, Alan Olo has a very amazing story, a very inspirational story. And I hope that you've learned, and I hope you're still learning. And there are so many things that you can tap here, that a parent can speak a blessing no matter what. Another thing, despite the challenges that you face, despite how you are raised, you can still become the person you want to be in future. You can still achieve your dream. And so as we finalize, as we conclude our show here, tell us some of your achievements so far.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Yes.
Joy,
Yeah.
once more.
Yeah.
I emerged the overall best student
Yeah.
in the graduating class of Southeastern Kenya University, class of 2016, 31st of March.
Yes.
And I was given a scholarship partially for my master's,
Yeah.
which will be going on.
Yeah.
I've also done my higher diploma in nutrition, pharmaceutical science, and several certificates, close to 8 now.
Yeah.
Today I do teaching
Yes.
part-time for Pan-Africa
Yes.
University. I've taught for Southeastern Kenya University. That's where I am. I'm in the program called Staff Development Program, where they educate you to become part of them. I also do life coach and student coaching. I've been to several schools, close to 98 now in the entire nation. I run telling people my story and how they can achieve. You know, I've been under 30 motivational speaker of the year 2020, 2021,
Yeah.
and a recent award.
Yeah.
And many things that I can really count. But one thing, my past didn't determine my future. This is what I always say,
Yeah.
and I can tell you. you can do nothing about your past.
Yes.
But you can do something about your future today.
Yes.
And that is me.
So you have the power to change everything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's what takes us to propel. So if you find me in the streets of US, when you're doing a show in US,
Yes.
I can't get shocked.
Yeah.
Australia, I can't get shocked.
Yeah.
You know, together with your hubby and also having my wife.
Yes.
You know, and that will be a nice one.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What can you, because you are a youth, what can you tell our youths?
Be determined.
Yeah.
Be determined. Do what you do in the best way possible. Never say never.
Yes.
Even if you fall, rise. Make yourself run for the crowd.
Yes.
You know, and have an effective mind, and that the words of your mouth should never speak negative.
Yes.
One day, I was in Anniversary Towers, 18th floor, entered the lift. The lady told me, sir, are you going down? I told her, I can never go down.
Yes.
It's a lift going down. My life has to go up.
Yes.
Thank you.
Where can we find you? You know, I know there's someone out there who is watching and is wondering, or she's wondering, where can I get this person? Maybe you are a teacher, you want your students to be motivated. He's a very good motivational speaker. So where can they find you?
I'm not on so many social media platforms, but I'm on Facebook.
Yes.
Follow Diambo.
Yeah.
I'm there. So much. And you can also find me in your school one day, or an institution, or invite me to your church.
Yeah.
I speak the word of God
Yes.
fearlessly, without fear or doubt.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're gonna see you.
Yeah, so it has been a good time. And so thank you for having me on the show. I know that you're still impacting our generation. Continue doing that, and God is going to bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Continue to subscribe, continue to share, continue to comment. And also, if you have a story, you can still comment on the comment section below. Thank you. Till next time.